listening to The Breakfast Show on Faith FM with Skafy and Lindsay, and producer Sandy, of course, here at the desk. Now, in our 7 o'clock slot, we are going to have an interview with Justin Lohman. He's going to be bringing us the updates on the Iran-U.S. war, or, as they're calling it, just the military operations. Because if you say the word war is just, it's laden with technicalities and implications. But the question that I'm going to be asking Justin is, Justin, is the United States going to be sending in troops, actually ground troops, to the heart of Iran? Because there's some indications that this may happen. And if that happens, there's no indications that maybe Australia can follow suit. So let's see what Justin thinks about that one. By the way, if you have questions for Justin Lohman, if you have any questions regarding maybe the current fuel crisis or the war in Iran or repercussions or anything in terms of, how do these things relate to what the Bible has to say and prophecies, well, text your message here to 0491 064 669, and we will pass them along to Justin. He'll be more than happy to answer any and all questions that you may have. But now we're going to get into a new quiz question. So please, producer Sandy, what are we looking at now?
Can you name a tribe of Israel starting with the letter Z? Can you name a tribe of Israel starting with the letter Z? 0491 064 669. Correct answers from Lindsay and Skafy straight off the bat. Name a tribe of Israel starting with the letter Z. Send us your answers to 0491 064 669.
Okay, thank you very much. Awesome. I love these, tribes of Israel related questions. They're very interesting and fun. Okay, Lindsay, what are you going to be talking about today?
Today, I would like to talk to you about a small and squishy amphibian.
Okay. What's his name?
What kind of amphibians do you know about?
Look, I know about frogs.
Yeah.
I know about salamanders.
Yeah.
And I know about axolotls.
Axolotls. Oh, you hit the mark. So recently, the Mexican government has changed some things regarding their 50 peso note, and they've put some new pictures on there, including a very cute smiley axolotl, which is native to Mexico. And it's actually become a bit endangered since the city of Mexico has drained a lot of its habitat in order to continue building in what was once swampy wetland or river area.
When are we ever going to learn it's not a good idea to just destroy the ecosystem?
Yeah, it actually used to be a giant lake, and now it's just turned into a complete filled-in city.
What?
Yeah, it used to be one of the most diverse and just ecologically abundant places on the planet, and now it's just a terrible place, and they can't even get water there.
Seriously?
That's not the story I was planning to tell you. It's just something I happen to know.
Okay, you just kindled my anger.
People are living on Coca-Cola there more so than drinking water. It's terrible. Anyway, this is a good news segment. Let me get on the good news side again.
Okay.
Not ranting.
Right, axolotls.
Axolotls.
What about them? So they have, other than they have been endangered by now?
Yeah, so they're fairly endangered. So they're a cute little squishy amphibian that is like a salamander, but it has these frilly gills and it has such a big smile. Think of a dolphin or a really friendly dog, how they just have a really big smile on their face constantly. That's what this axolotl looks like. It's so cute and smiley, like a quokka even, right? And so they've put this little picture of this cute little creature on their 50 peso note, and now they're struggling with the fact that there's over $150 million worth of currency that is not in circulation because people have actually started hoarding these 50 peso notes. They just like it so much that they don't want to spend it.
And I'm wondering if some people are hoarding and holding on to them because, at some point, maybe the Mexican government will change or replace the $50, 50 pesos note for something else. And that 50 pesos note is going to be worth a fortune. I'm wondering. But you know what? Look, I am seeing the 50 pesos bill here. And the axolotl that is in that is actually very cute.
It is so cute. It actually won an award for, let me see if I can find it. They won an award for like the best banknote in the world or something recently. Let me see if I can
It's not just the
find
axolotl.
details.
It's like an axolotl jumping up in the middle of the this quiet river, and this river has like some beautiful trees bordering it. There's like a little boat and the sun at the back. It's just an exquisite art.
Yeah, it's so good. Actually, so the specific picture of that axolotl that they have on there was one that was kept in a Mexican museum or, the Mexico City Museum, and his name is Gorda. Like
Okay.
that specific axolotl on the picture. So, yeah, cool. Anyway, so that's one of the stories that I had to
Okay.
share with
Yeah,
you this
that's
morning.
cute. Okay, let's just be honest with me.
Yeah.
If Australia came up with like a really cute banknote,
It would be a quokka.
okay, let's say there's a quokka, like
Yeah.
like a $50 quokka note.
Yeah.
Would you hoard it
I don't know if I'd hoard it.
or would you spend it?
I mean, there's a lot of people hoarding cash right now for their own different reasons, not necessarily because of the pictures on them, but just for the sake of holding onto cash. So, I don't know.
For people that are like into like collecting currency and coins,
Mm.
I actually like what Australia Post does. Like, you know how
Yeah.
they have like these commemorative coins and so on. So
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
not into collecting coins, but from time to time I have seen like or end up in my head like one of these little like colorful coins. Like I think I had one of the
With, like,
20,
green or
20
red in
Olympics
it,
or
or-
something. Yeah, and maybe I have like
Blue.
these coins with like different things. Yeah, you can collect those, but don't necessarily need to collect the
Like
actual
a
currency.
$50 note.
Unless there's something more, unless this is not the reason, because apparently there's a lot of people, even in Australia, there's a lot of money just not out in circulation, and they're not in banks. Just like a lot of notes that are just like
Where are
not
they?
being used.
Yeah.
So nobody knows. One of the speculations that someone is actually, or someone, so like people are just like holding on to lots of cash, probably for just in case scenarios where, hey, what if electronic transactions fail?
Yeah.
You still need cash to be able
Yeah.
to
Some
buy
type
stuff
of
and
currency.
so on.
It's
So
still legal tender.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. I remember when I was very, very small, the 1 and 2 cent coin in Australia had been recalled, but my dad had one of each, and so
there were 2 cents coins?
yeah,
Really? Why would you
yeah.
even do that?
So I think one of them had a frill neck lizard. I don't know, producer Sandy. Do you have any memory of what animals were on the 1 or 2 cent coin in Australia back in the day?
I'm thinking the
platypus?
No,
I remember the frill neck
lizard.
lizard was one of them.
An echidna.
Could have been an echidna.
I'm thinking. No,
Yeah.
is platypus on the 20 cent
Is it
piece?
echidna's on the 5 cent, isn't it? Anyway. Well,
I mean, I certainly remember those coins. I even have very vague memories of the $1 and $2 notes.
Okay,
wow.
I'm seeing here that the
Yes.
1 cent coin featured a feather tail glider
Oh, okay.
on the
Okay.
reverse. Yeah, let me see the 2 cent coin here. Let's
Yeah.
see what kind of animal we have. The 2 cent coin. Yeah, there is the frilled neck lizard.
Yep.
Okay.
What
Wow.
kind of metal was it? Was it copper?
It was like a copper,
Yeah,
kind of similar
that's what I
to
remember.
the American penny.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a different color.
There you go.
And 190, I'm seeing here on eBay. If you like to buy in 1966 Australian 2 cent coins, you can pocket $900.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's
I don't think
probably
it'd
it's
be
inflated. I do not
worth
know.
it.
Wow, but there's a lot of actually. There's like people selling 1 cent Australian coins for $1,100.
That's
And I'm seeing here there's like a
insane.
1982 Australian 50 cent Brisbane Commonwealth Games coin
Okay.
for the cheap price of $52,000. So someone's trying to pay their mortgage with its 50 cent coin. It's gonna be epic.
It must be
I
very
doubt that
rare.
someone
They
would
must be
Yeah.
very rare coins.
But
Incredibly rare. Yeah.
I sincerely, I doubt that people pay that much for like a coin.
People-
Unless
Are
you're
there-
trying to laundry money.
Are there any bids, or is that just the asking?
No,
price?
just the asking.
Okay.
Just the asking. Or best offer.
Best of.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
But you know what? Sometimes when I see it, look, sure, the coin looks nice and it's surely it's rare. I know that there's some post stamps that can attract some crazy prices. But I don't know. I kind of suspect that this is a little bit of a fake news market.
Okay.
I think that, well, if people sell it, if people buy it, it's probably some kind of scam behind it, like money laundering, because they can say, okay, Lindsay, I'm going to buy this 50-cent coin for $50,000, but this is the deal. I will pay you $52,000, but then you pay me $48,000 back. But then you'll be able to justify, or then you use this $48,000 and you buy something in my legal business here, like a car from my dealership that is worth $5,000, but you pay $48,000, and this is how you ended up, like, money that you got illegally. Then you can justify, no, look, $48,000, and I bought this coin. So I do not know, because I'm not an expert of money laundering, as you can see, but I know that people do make money laundering with, like, arts all the time.
I was thinking like the auctions where very wealthy people go and buy a massive piece of artwork, but it's just like blue or like a single line or something.
It's like a toilet seat.
It's just
and
so
it's
random,
like $1 million.
but they get to write off for tax reasons or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty sus, but
It's very sus.
people get away with it. So
Yeah. There you go.
We'll let them have their
Axolotls
loopholes a little longer. So.
Okay, so if you let us know here, radio friend. Do you have one of these coins? Do you think that they value that much? If they are worth that much? So text us here, 0491 064 669. I must confess that this is the first time that I hear that any country actually had a 2-cent coin.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Oh.
I mean, I thought, who would do a 2-cent coin? I mean,
Well.
just give 2 1-cent coin. It's just
These days,
That's
it's not
easy.
that useful. I think they got rid of 1 and 2 cent coins when they were bringing in credit cards, so they could put like $1.99 and everyone paid $2 instead, and like rack up prices.
I think that Donald Trump wanted to get rid of the 1 cent, the penny in the United States, because look, it costs the government more than 1 cent to produce a 1 cent coin.
Right.
But there's a massive pushback because people over there, they absolutely love their pennies.
That's crazy. Oh wow.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
Now it is time for a quiz answer. Please, producer Sandy.
The tribe of Israel, starting with the letter Z, was Zebulun.
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 What a cool name.
Yes, and shout out to David and Janelle and Valmai for all sending in correct answers to the quiz question.
Woohoo, good job, guys.
Yeah.
All get a gold star and a high five.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about the word underwriting. What do you understand about that word, Lindsay? It's not a word that we typically use in our day-to-day, but it's a relatively common word in the financial market.
Oh, so it's not like riding while you're under the sea or something?
No,
Under the sea. No?
not quite.
Okay.
Even though that would be a fun use of
That
it.
would be fun. All right. What is it? What does it mean?
Okay, so
I don't know anything about finance, so teach me something.
Underwriting is when someone commits to buy something so that you won't be afraid. You kind of guarantee that you... So let's say, for example, let's say that I believe you have the potential to write a really cool book about, female hormones and cycles and work and so on.
Yep.
And I say, Lindsay, you should totally write a book about, a journal maybe about, female hormones and how they affect your life and your
What a
worship.
crazy idea.
I know. But then imagine that I come to you and you say, oh, Skafy, look, I don't know. I'm a little bit poor and I don't have that money with me. What if I go there and I print 1,000 copies and just nobody buys them?
You're giving me some good ideas right now.
Okay.
Like-
And I will say this. I can say, if I'm underwriting, say, Lindsay, I'm going to underwrite your books. Meaning, if you don't sell these $1,000, like I'm going to help you market them and sell them. However, I believe in that so much that if there's any copies leftovers, I'm going to buy them from you.
Okay.
So you have like a guaranteed purchase of $1,000. Well, I'll
Nice.
try to get as many people to buy, but if there's any leftovers, I'll buy them. This is what underwriting is. So in the financial world, often if banks, for example, are making launching a company in the share market, for example, they'll say, okay, we're going to share so many, but we as the bank, we're guaranteeing you that we're going to buy X amount or X percent of your shares at least at the minimum this price. Which basically is a way of the bank saying, look, we believe in you.
Okay.
We believe in you. I believe it's a good deal. We are aligned. What was I thinking about underwriting? Not because I'm thinking about underwriting anything.
Oh, you weren't going to underwrite my journal, the Overflow journal? No?
No, I think you won't need it.
Oh, okay.
That being said, I've been thinking about it because the federal government came out with, I think that the first kind of more concrete measure to try to solve the fuel crisis in Australia.
Sure. Yeah.
And the Labor government through the Ministry of Energy, they basically said to the big oil buyers, the big fuel buyers in Australia, like BP, Ampol, Shell, these kinds of people, they say, look, we are going to underwrite the international oil cargo that you can buy. Because the problem is, in the world, there's still a lot of oil to be bought. Mm-hmm. But oil prices, of course, they have increased. Mm-hmm. But if you bid a little bit above the price, you win the cargo. People say, okay, I'm going to send it to sell to Australia. Yeah. But these fuel companies, they have one big fear. Say, hey, what if I go there and I buy this massive $200-300 million worth of fuel from a ship to come to Australia, and I'm paying like let's say $120 per barrel, but by the time that it comes to Australia, the price drops down to like $80.
Right.
Like the crisis gets over it. Like I cannot afford. My board will not afford me to lose like $200 million. Yeah. In that, so there's no way I'm not going to buy.
Right.
And so that what the government's saying is that, okay, for the additional, we want you to buy additional fuel so we can beef up our stocks reserves, and and keep up with the demand that has been increasing. So I'm going to underwrite. So if you buy this additional cargo more than what you normally would buy, you can be aggressive in your bidding. You can just win it. Just win the shipment. Yeah. Offer whatever you have to offer.
Need that oil.
And you sell it here. But if you were going to make a loss, I'm covering that for you. I'm underwriting it. So you're not going to be at a loss.
Awesome.
But not only they're underwriting fuel prices, because the oil companies were asking, okay, but what about insurances? Because if we're going to be bringing these, fuel from, let's say, all over the Gulf of America, from the United States, well, it's gonna be more, insurance. There's things that can go wrong. The government said, look, okay, we're going to underwrite the insurance as well. Maybe we can even offer insurance, cheaper insurance for you. And then the other thing is that they were underwriting is also saying, look, what if we don't have money? I mean, we're going to be, for us to buy additional cargo of oil into the country, like it's a substantial amount. Lindsay, it's not cheap to buy a full container of petrol. These ships, they normally, there's between $200 million and $300 million in oil in them. So the Australian government, they're trying to amend their powers in the law. Say, okay, we can even give you loans. We can give you like subsidized loans, so you can just go there confidently, just buy all the fuel that we need. Yeah. But go out and do it. Just go and do it. Like no excuses. Yeah. So we can have fuel. Yeah. Someone else will miss out on fuel, but not us. Right? Because we're backing you up.
Because we're Australia and we need that fuel.
We need that fuel, and we're backing you up.
Australia first.
The Australian taxpayers are going to back you up. Which, you know what, strategically speaking, honestly, I think it's reasonable.
You reckon it's good?
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable measure. But
it's got Skafy's stick of approval.
But not let's see how that's going to go, right? That being said, I was thinking about these because hey, there's a spiritual application here.
Is there?
There has to be a spiritual application here.
Tell us.
And there is a spiritual application.
What is it?
I was like asking God, give me a spiritual application, because this word was just like buzzing in my mind, underwriting, and thinking, you know what? God underwrites a bunch of things for us.
Oh. What does he have?
I'm thinking here of a story when God called Moses. God called Moses to be the deliverer of the people. And Moses was 80 years old. He was an old man in the desert. He's just like a shepherd, with, a brilliant past, but just a shepherd for the last 40 years. And God comes to him in Exodus chapter 3 and chapter 4 and says, hey, Moses, I'm going to use you to deliver my people from the hands of Pharaoh. And Moses says, oh, but look, who am I? Like, who am I to do this? Like, I'm a nobody. I'm a nobody.
Yeah.
And I'm a fugitive.
He's a
from the
fugitive.
law.
He was a disgraced noble.
Yes, and God says, "No, I will be with you." But then Moses said, "But what if I go there? Nobody believes in me."
Yeah.
And God says, I will be with you. Hey, give me this, what is this that you have in your hand? It's a staff. Throw it in the floor. And then this staff becomes a serpent. And Moses is like, whoa, a serpent. And he's like, scared of it, like running from it. Like it's like an inland Taipei sort of snake, like a really poisonous one. And then God says, now go and grab it by the tail. Of all places, you don't grab snakes by the tail because they bite you if you do so. You grab them by the head. But Moses trusted in God. And he grabbed it by the tail and it became a staff again. And Moses said, but what if they don't believe in that one? And God said, okay, look, I have a plan. This is plan A. Plan B is like put your hand into your chest, take it off. You see how your hand is? Like his hand like turned white as
With
leprosy.
Yeah.
And then Moses like, wow, my hands are decomposing. And then God says, put your hand back into your chest. And then he does it. And then when he takes out, it was brand new again. And then God says, and if they don't believe in that, well, you get some water from the Nile and you pour it on the floor, on the ground. It's going to transform into blood. Like, I mean, Moses, I'm going to be with you. And God was happy to underwrite all of these things. And Moses said, God, just choose someone else. Like, just choose anybody else. Like, not me. And God was like angry, saying, Moses, come on.
Why me, God?
Okay. Because Moses said, I don't know how to speak Egyptian very well. I'm heavy of tongue and so on. God says, look, have I not created the tongue? I will be with you.
Yeah.
And Moses, God, just choose someone else. And the Bible says that at this point, God was angry at Moses.
He was
Moses,
so annoyed.
Come on now. Okay, grab your brother Aaron, and he's going to help. He's going to help you.
Yeah.
But you're still going to be involved with it. So what I was thinking about that is that for every what ifs that we throw at God, God replies with, I will.
Yeah. I will be with you.
I'll be with you.
I will make a way.
I'll make a way. I'm
provide
covering
what
you.
you
I'm
need.
providing for you. So whatever what ifs we come with. So in the same way that these, fuel importing companies were asking, what if this? What if the price collapses? What if we don't get insurance? What if it's too expensive? And the federal government saying, I will help you. I will do this. I'll provide insurance. Okay. Oh, I'll provide a loan for you. Okay. Oh, I'm going to underwrite your fuel for you. I'll buy it from you. No worries. You will sell it and I'll buy you at a price that, it's going to pay, it's going to pay your expenses to you. And every time that we say, God, but what if? God says, I will be with you. So, which makes me think of two things. There's one story of an underwriting that I'm involved with, but I'm going to tell that in our 8 o'clock slide. So remind me of that. I have an interesting story. But my question for myself and for you, listening friend, is this. What are the things that you believe God wants you to do, but you're afraid of failing on them? That you're asking, I want to do this for God, but what if? What is the what ifs that are stopping you? Have you thought about that? Are there things that's like, man, I wish I could do this, but what if?
Yeah.
What if I fail? What if, people laugh at me? What if, people despise me? What if I lose a ton of money in the process? What is that thing that God is calling you and you're saying to God, what if, that's stopping you, but God is underwriting and saying, I will.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
We are now going to be interviewing our friend Justin Lohman.
Yay.
Our
Welcome, Justin.
correspondent from Canberra. Good morning to you, Justin. It's good to have you here with us, mate.
We get so excited about this time.
Hey,
this
Justin,
is our favorite time
question
of the week.
for you. You're our correspondent from Canberra. We people from Faith FM are asking if you'd like to be our correspondent from Iran, because apparently there's some actions there. Are you up for the job?
I have travelled a lot in my life, but I have no intention of visiting Iran. There's a lot of cool stuff there I'd like to see.
Yeah, the Tomb of Daniel. I mean, it would be amazing to see
Cyrus's tomb.
Really?
Yeah.
The Histon inscription. All sorts of significant archaeology. Lots of history there. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, not so much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Well, we'll see if someone else will be willing to get for the job. But we had to
I
ask.
do know some guys that might work like within 50 metres of you that have been there.
Oh, okay.
They
yes.
went there on my behalf and filmed the Kingdom Come trilogy. They filmed it on site in Iran.
Yes, the
okay.
Kingdom Come trilogy, which is actually an absolute hit. It went viral. I think that it was watched by millions and millions of people. It was like a great documentary
Okay.
on how the prophecies of the book of Daniel have been fulfilled.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Justin,
those guys have been there.
there you go.
So
Tell
good.
us a little bit about what's going on in Iran, because what I've been seeing is that President Trump mentioned about asked everybody to watch an announcement by Mark Levin, a guy a commentator from Fox News, and Mark Levin says that he believes the United States should send ground troops to the heart of Iran so that they can seize the nuclear material that they have there, the enriched uranium. Are we seeing a repeat of Iraq and Afghanistan? What's going to happen there? What do you think is going to happen?
Mark Levin is he worked in the Reagan administration. He's very aligned with Israel. He is Jewish, and the Israelis have a different view to the rest of the world when it comes to what to do with Iran. And
Right.
within Trump's base, there's a huge division over this war. I'm not sure how this is going to pan out for Trump, because that wing of the Republican Party, Mark Levin, is not really the MAGA base. The MAGA base don't want troops on the ground, and Trump's own base don't want troops on the ground. I think it will be very limited. There's just 3,500 more troops arrive over there. The 82nd Airborne is ready to go. They parachute in. There seems like there's going to be some troops on the ground. I don't know. I have no idea what that's going to look like, but there's a few options they have.
And particularly with the midterm elections approaching as well, everything is so, everything can change. I mean, if it can, that can, do you think that this can hurt Trump's support and his supremacy at the Senate and the House of Representatives level?
Yeah, look, I don't know. Look, it was going to be close anyway. Usually sitting presidents, their party will lose seats in the midterms, and the Senate and all these things are so close over there. Now all this has gone down. I guess 24 hours is a long time. How they recover before we get to the November election, who knows what's going to happen in that time, but the inflation that's going to come as a result of the cost of fuel is going to be quite profound. It will be up to Biden level inflation if this continues.
It's interesting. And Justin, I saw some news as well over the weekend that Iran would have been recruiting up to 1 million people to join the ranks and to prepare for the war. So they're getting like a mass conscription campaign. But what the detail that really stood out to me is that they're calling soldiers as young as 12 years old. This is the minimum age to become a soldier now in Iran. 12 years of age, and there are reports of these teenagers, 12, 13-year-old boys, doing police rounds in the streets of Iranian cities. Have you seen anything on that area?
Yeah, you remember that there's that really hardcore group of Islamists within the country that are not the majority. And it is that hardcore group of devotees to their Sharia Islam that they're going to be calling on. But if you're getting 12-year-old kids involved in your military, that reeks of desperation.
Yeah, that's true.
That reeks of desperation.
Yeah, it's very true. And to talk to us a little bit about what happened, because during last week, everybody was talking about a gift that Donald Trump said that he's negotiating with some leadership in Iran, but then Iran is saying, no, we're not negotiating. This is all fake news. He's talking to himself. What was that saga all about?
Oh, well, they allowed 10 ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz with oil. It ended up they gave 2 extra. There does seem to be a negotiation going on in Pakistan between Iran and Trump's cabinet. But the latest is Trump's side saying that they're just talking and they're not really coming through. They were negotiating before the war. I'm not sure that people that have the world view that leadership group have had there are people you can really negotiate and just do a deal. Trump thinks he can do a deal with everyone. These guys, their ideology is not going to allow them to do what he thinks they should do. So I think that's his big miscalculation in my mind, that he could just negotiate a deal with these hardliners.
Yes.
He may prove me wrong, but I wouldn't have thought that's going to be possible.
Because these guys are not just moved by money or power. There's a perverse theology underpinning all of that, isn't it?
Well, they have a very apocalyptic view of their role at the end of time, that the whole world goes to custard, and they're going to have their 12th imam come up, this little kid that hasn't been seen for 1,000 years or something. It's quite extreme, and their role in that would set them up for, taking everyone down with them. This is not an easy regime to negotiate with.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
just do a deal. That's not how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. And Justin, coming back here to our home front, Australia has sent a few assets over to the Middle East. We heard about our Eagle aircraft, the one that does the airspace surveillance, like one of the most high-tech advanced aircrafts in the Royal Air Force. What else have we been doing to, because at least apparently Donald Trump kind of pulled the ear of Australia, right? Says, hey, I'm kind of surprised that Australia is not helping us, to monitor and to police the Strait of Hormuz. What's our involvement in that war so far?
Well, we haven't been, according to our government, we were never officially asked. So Trump has had a real bender with NATO, to the point that he sort of talks about we've left NATO. Australia doesn't want to lose America as an ally, or we're a little vulnerable. We need America. And so we usually play ball when they ask. When they say jump, we say how high. But the claim from our government is we weren't officially asked, and that we would consider it. But we can't put fuel in our ship, mate. So, we can't get it over there.
That would be a bit of an unfortunate thing. And I've seen one thing as well that I found quite interesting. Remember, like in the war of Ukraine and Russia, how there were some episodes where Russia just left some of their most expensive aircraft just out in the open, and the Ukrainians found a way to send in drones and to destroy these extremely strategic and expensive aircrafts.
The bombers.
The bombers. It appears that Iran has done exactly the same thing to U.S. bombers and air resupply, refuel aircrafts, like the KC-130s. Have you seen the pictures of that?
Yeah, and I'm always skeptical with all these pictures because they're with AI. They've made the aircraft carrier look like it's been hit and on fire. The thing that's telling to me is the Americans sent one aircraft carrier back for repairs. So
Yeah, what's the story of that aircraft carrier? Because that's the Gerald Ford, isn't it? Like the jewel of the crown of the U.S.
big
Navy.
one. Yeah, they look. We won't really know for a while yet because it's all, the first casualty in war is the truth.
Yeah.
So that it's all propaganda from every side. But the fact that it went home when it did, and the Americans said there was a fire on board in the galley or something like that. It was an accidental fire. I think something's happened. A drone has been able to get through or something, but we're not officially told. But we know they have come under severe drone attack. The Americans have admitted that. So I wouldn't doubt that they've been able to take out some of their bombers, the refueling aircraft. I would believe that. One big thing to look at too, in a couple of hours, the National Cabinet, all the state premiers are going to meet with the Prime Minister, and they're going to talk about plans for keeping the fuel supply going in Australia. This is going to be very, very interesting. People are feeling a little COVID-like with a possible lockdown or restrictions on movement and all sorts of things that could be introduced. We're going to find out later today.
Okay, so what has been happening like in the last week or so? What have we learned? Because I have been looking on the stats about the fuel reserves that we have, and they don't appear to have been going down. It means like we're not using them, or we're just getting more than enough petrol for the time being in diesel.
Everyone's prediction and the government's own statement is we've got a fuel shortage by mid-April.
Okay.
Because the ships and, it's a 30-day lag before it cuts in for us. There is going to be a shortage. New Zealand has already gone. They've got 5 levels that they'll go through that they've published, and they're in level 2, I think, today, of restrictions. They have 18 days worth of diesel, apparently. They have a lot more petrol. We have, it will debate on who you listen to, but we've probably only got about 20 days of diesel. So diesel is our big concern in this country because that's how everything functions.
Yeah.
All the shops will still keep working because trucks will get there. So diesel's the thing that everyone's running out of in these servos. There was up to 500 servos this week that in one day that didn't have diesel. The government is saying people are hoarding it. People have jerry cans and they're buying more than normal. That's why we're running out. But I don't think it's until after Easter, mid-April, where we're going to find out exactly how this shortage impacts us. And there's a lot of calls for them to put on restrictions now, just in case we have a real shortage in a few weeks' time.
I understand. So, what kind of measures can we can we expect to see from the National Cabinet? So, can they ask people to stay at home and work from home, or cap, how much diesel or petrol they can buy? What can we expect, do you think?
Well, they released a document from the previous government saying we'll restrict people to $40 purchases. Now, the price of diesel, you couldn't even get back home from this. So, $40 is like what was $10.
15 liters.
That's not realistic, but they could do a cap on $100 or something. They are already asking people to work from home if that's possible. A lot of state governments are giving free public transport. Victoria's just announced that they're going to do free public transport. Doesn't help you in the country where we're really struggling with the diesel thing. But New South Wales are not doing that. They're being a little more fiscally responsible. I wish Victoria would learn that. But that's the sort of things we could expect. They could actually, if you can remember COVID, that you were not allowed to leave, your area, you were to work from home. We could see similar things with the use of fuel.
5K radius back in Melbourne. That was a rough time.
At least you can go out without a mask now.
That's right. And you can exercise, because to me, like the worst of the COVID era was just like, you cannot even leave your home to exercise in fresh air. It's like, come on.
Everyone
How am I supposed to stay healthy here? Justin, okay, thank you so much for today. What is the prayer that we can pray for our world this week?
Oh, wow. You think of the loss of life that's happening in Ukraine and Russia. We can't forget that terrible conflict.
Yeah.
Thousands are being killed every week there. And then now, how many people are being killed from these bombings and strikes that are happening there in the Middle East? Terrible things going on. And the whole time in the background, the world economy is looking very, very shaky. Very shaky.
So praying for all this loss of lives to stop happening. Now, more importantly, as you always mention, praying for the outpouring of the Holy Spirit and the preaching of the gospel in these difficult times.
Thanks for being a part of the Faith FM family. Join our community on Facebook or get in touch at 1-800-FAITH-FM.